And we are back for an episode that we knew was coming. Deep down, we knew we'd have this episode eventually. Trea Turner signs a $300 million deal. You heard that right, $300 million. We have two $300 million players on our team. 11-year deal. We're going to have him here in Philadelphia till he's 40 years old. Gut reaction, Johnny. How do you feel about this signing? And how good do you feel about this team next year with him at shortstop?
I'm absolutely psyched about the signing. Personally, I think we all saw the World Series and the playoffs. Although we were happy with what our lineup could do, we saw a lot of strikeouts, and we saw there was games where we couldn't get nothing going. This is a guy that should kind of cure that issue, and he could be our on-base machine, make stuff happen just with a single steel bag. I think it's the perfect addition to this team.
Do you think this has been kind of decided for a while now? Do you think both Trea Turner kind of made up his mind and Dombrowski made up his mind and Bryce Harper made up his mind because relatively speaking, this happened pretty quickly. We just got done playing baseball like a month ago. You saw Machado and Harper stretch their whole. But here we are, the first week of December, and Trea Turner's made up his mind that he's had enough of this free agency thing. Do you think this was kind of already set in stone?
Yeah, it was more of a when and how and how much. Yeah, and I think the Phillies probably sensed a little bit of urgency. Everyone heard the news today that Judge is going to decide by Wednesday, which kind of you don't want one of those teams to pivot and go after Trea Turner once they miss out on Judge. So I think they struck at the right time. I think it's what Harper wanted, and we know what Harper wants. Harper gets. Yeah, I love it.
All right, let's talk about the money here because it's more than I thought. The years are more than I thought. It's a strange contract, but it's a contract that we've seen before. Bryce Harper signed a very similar contract to this. You give a guy a lot of money, you throw a ton of money in his face, $300 million, probably not a number Trea Turner was expecting. Maybe he was expecting that, but definitely towards the top. And then you throw out a very high amount of years, and if you break it all down, it comes out to 27, 28 million a year. People were talking 35 million for Trea Turner. Dombrowski worked a little bit of magic to get that number a lot lower. Comes at a cost though, because we're going to be paying Trea Turner till he's 40 years old. This is a guy who relies on speed. Big part of his game stealing bases. Besides Ricky Henderson, I don't know many 40-year-olds that steal bases. Really kind of got to be a freak of nature to do that. Trea Turner might do that, but odds are certainly not in his favor. Do you think that we are kind of just this is a win now move, right? And kind of worry about Trea Turner and his aging process later on down the road.
It's a win now type move, and it's also what you have to do to get premier players these days. That's how we got Bryce Harper. It's 13 going above 10 years is something most teams don't want to do because it is dangerous. The Phillies have kind of found that as their niche to kind of pull some of these superstars in. I think the players like it because they feel supported for over a decade financially, and I don't feel like we're in about 2033 right now.
Yeah, I don't think Dombrowski does either because his contract doesn't go that long, and he knows that's going to be a problem for another GM. Um, but yeah, no, Trea Turner's a Philly. It's an interesting situation now because we didn't end up spending as much money as we thought we would. We still have, I believe, the number somewhere in like the 20, $25 million to work with, and that's to the tax, which we will go over if we have to. We know that. Do you think this still leaves the door open for Carlos Rodon specifically and some of the upper tier of the middle tier free agent starters?
I think it does keep us open to Rodon, but it
You don't
also
sound too
opens
you
us
don't
up.
sound too confident at all.
No, I'm not. It is what I wanted originally, but after seeing this deal, I see that we're in a pretty good financial spot still for the 2023 season, and if we could get like two players, two solid contributions instead of Rodon, I would be happy. Even if we were to get like a Jameson Taillon or Taiwan Walker, and then stay under the tax, and then have a little bit of flexibility going into the season. That'd be fine with me.
In Dave Dombrowski, we trust at this point because this guy he has not let us down. It's been incredibly enjoyable to watch him do all of this. I mean, it's so much fun signing these big names and interesting trades and stuff. And I think a really big picture here is, we're in a really good position here to win, and he's done this in a way that he hasn't. It feels like he's learned from his past self a little bit because you look at this team, and we improved substantially through free agency, but we have not depleted this farm at all, with the exception of Logan O'Hoppe for Brandon Marsh. But we talked about that. Um, he's building a sustainable winner here. He's not just going for it. We have the farm intact, and we have a core here that should be pretty good for the next 3-4 years. I mean, it's a really good spot that we're in, and it's a spot 1 year ago today we did not expect us to be in. I mean, just this goes on to the bigger picture of what a year it's been. We went from thinking whether we should blow up the whole team and start over to making it to the World Series and signing the guy that everybody wanted, Trea Turner. He was the premier shortstop in the market. He might end up getting the most money, and he wants to come to Philadelphia. He wants to play for the Phils, and it's a really fun thing to watch this team come together.
Yeah, it's really been surreal. And just to kind of hit on your Dave Dombrowski uh, comment, everyone thought he was going to deplete the farm system, but exactly what he's done is kind of he's bet on the farm system. I mean, he's went all offense since essentially all offense since he's been here, and he's put the right pieces intact to develop Andrew Painter and Mick Abel, and the future's looking really bright at the moment. And I don't remember like an offseason where I was this optimistic since like 2011.
It's been a while. Right now, as it kind of lies today, how do you think this lineup unfolds with Trea Turner? What do you think the leading candidate for to bat him is in this lineup?
I think it's going to be leadoff. Maybe I think with Harper being out, we could see maybe Schwarber staying in the leadoff until Harper gets back. But I think the top four when Harper returns will look something like uh, Turner, Harper, Real Muto, Schwarber, something like that.
I think I go a different way with that. I think Schwarber holds on to that spot as long as he wants it. It seems to have worked. Weirdly enough, like it just works. We don't really know how or why, or we don't even have proof that it does work, but it just seems to work. The team plays well when he bats leadoff, and I think he slots into the 2 spot ahead of Bryce Harper in the 3 spot. A little farther down the lineup, I've noticed a lot of people are trying to stick Nick Castellanos and Rhys Hoskins back to back. That's a bad idea. Wouldn't advise against that, but I mean, Trea Turner and Bryce Harper in the 2-3 spot is insane. I mean, that's something you could throw an all-star team out there, and Trea Turner would bat second, and Bryce Harper would bat third. That's how good that middle of the lineup is, and it's such a deep lineup now. And at the end of the day, you pay $12 million to upgrade Gene Segura to Trea Turner, a younger, better, more dynamic player, and it's really going to change the dynamic of this team with his ability to hit for contact, his ability to wreak havoc all over the bases, and his ability to play a really good shortstop. It's going to make Bryson Stott play better at second base, where people think he's more inclined to perform better defensively. It's a it's a move that made sense from the beginning. It's a move that makes sense now, and there's only so much we can say because we're not surprised. I mean, everybody watching this, you're not surprised. This is the move that we knew was going to happen. We just didn't know when.
Exactly. We didn't know when, but it happened. And I got a question for you real quick. On the defensive side, that's been probably the part of Trea's game that everyone's kind of poked holes in. Do you think with the banning of the shift, he is typically known statistically as a better range defender, not necessarily his glove work. Do you think that kind of benefits him or puts him at a
I
disadvantage?
haven't I haven't thought about it, but Yeah, I could see that kind of working out for him. I think actually the way the game's changing with the bigger bases, you can only step over so many times. He might steal like 70 bases next year. Let's be real.
Yeah, and you can't throw over more than 2 times in a row.
Nope, and he might be going anyway. But if a pitcher throws over twice, he's definitely going, and he's going to find himself in that situation a lot. It's one of those moves that like you're kind of predicting how the game's going to change, and you're predicting how a player is going to change with it. Kind of like how we anticipated, the DH spot coming. We knew we could build a team kind of unorthodox and make it work. It's Dombrowski thinking two steps ahead of everybody. He's done it forever, and eventually he's going to probably be considered one of the best baseball minds in history, especially if he can get this team to over the hump of the World Series. Yeah, and Dombrowski we trust at this point.
Yeah, tip of the cap to Dave. Really changing his reputation. No longer like the farm system butcher. He's just a winner now.
Yeah, we both owe him an apology, honestly, with the way we kind of reacted when we got him, especially me because I thought he'd follow his typical formula, but he's adjusted just wonderfully. Um, do you think the Dansby Swanson talk and all the shortstops was just bluffing this whole time, and Trey was always our guy?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that maybe the only one that probably had any like merit to it is probably the Xander Bogaerts rumors, because Xander Bogaerts, people don't give him enough credit. He's a really, really great hitter. We talked about it a couple episodes ago. But yeah, the Dansby and Cray, I didn't believe any of that for a second.
yeah, I saw that, and I didn't really buy it the moment I saw it. I just knew it was Dombrowski doing what he does. But
I'm like, that's
yeah,
not
Trey Turner.
Bryce Harper's buddy.
Yeah, no, why would that work for us? But Trey Turner, $300 million. You got anything else before we get out of here?
Nope. Just proud to be a Phillies fan today.
It's a good day to be a Phillies fan, and yeah, I wonder if this is going to be the only emergency meeting we have during these winter meetings. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we're not done just within these next couple days. It's been kind of insane so far down there in San Diego.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if we're back on tomorrow night talking about our new four starter.
Yeah, definitely. I like this proactive mindset. It makes me, you know, feel better knowing that we're solving problems early. But yeah, no, that's our emergency podcast. Thank you guys for listening. We will talk to you soon, and thanks again.